Good afternoon, everyone. Today, this upcoming Shabbos, we will be reading the Torah portion of Shemini. And this is a crowning event in the history of the Jewish people in the desert and for all times. This is the dedication of the tabernacle of the Mishkan. There were months of preparation which went into the collections, which went into the building. Immediately before the opening of this Parsha, there was the 7 days of preparation, the Shivas Yimei HaMiluyim, and our Parsha opens on the 8th day, which is incidentally, it is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, it is the first day of Nisan, so it is not just associated to the Torah reading, but the calendar itself. The crowning event, this is when Hashem accepts the Mishkan. It is His residence, it is His presence among us, it is the removal of that cloud which hung over the Jewish people in terms of what ill effect would the Sid of the golden calf have with their relationship with Hashem. The acceptance of the Mishkan was indicative of the fact that Hashem had forgiven and atoned for the sin of the golden calf. And yet, on such a special day, it was also one of the messiest and confusing days in our history. Because when we start looking beneath the surface, so we see first and foremost, even from the very beginning, the hesitancy of Aaron to participate, and that Moshe has to urge him on that yes, this is his destiny, to dispel his feelings of inadequacy that he had, that he was not the one to fulfill this project. And then, after everything was completed, after all the sacrifices were offered, absolutely nothing happened. It became the danger of looking face to face with utter failure. The failure of the way Aaron felt, that his sacrifices were not being accepted, the failure of the Jewish people felt, that all of this effort that they put in, everything was there except the divine presence was not manifest. And how this was solved is very insightful to us. It was solved by the mutual partnership of Moshe and Aaron coming together. We see them throughout the Chumash, each one, so to speak, executing their own duties, each one having their own function in the Jewish people, and all of a sudden, at this point, there is a dependency between Moshe and Aaron, and it is only how they reach out to each other, how Moshe goes to intercede, to pray to Hashem, how it is the merit of Aaron, which is evoked by Moshe, and it's only through this partnership that it triggers the divine presence to be manifest. And then, right afterwards, even after that, we find a fascinating exchange between Moshe and Aaron. We know that this day is tainted by the death of the two sons of Aaron, and that it creates confusion in terms of what will be the sacrificial order, which sacrifices to be consumed, which sacrifices not to be consumed. And all of a sudden, there is we have to call it not just a debate, there is an argument between Moshe and Aaron. And Moshe wanting that all the sacrifices, those which were unique to the day and those which were part of the regular order of the tabernacle should be consumed. Aaron distinguishing between the two, Aaron saying the unique sacrifices, this is the only time to do it. The Kodshei Shah, those are the Kodshei Shah, the unique sacrifices, which are one-time events. The Kodshei Doros, those which will be done in perpetuity, have to be treated differently, that they cannot be used when they are in a status of oninim, of first stage mourners. And Moshe Rabbeinu responds, and there's a difference between the way Rashi and the Gemara understand this response, but according to Rashi, Rashi says that Moshe Lobosh, Moshe was not embarrassed, and he was ready to say, Lo Shemaiti, you're right, God did not tell me, give me guidance, and what you say is what makes sense. And Vayitav Be'einav, and Moshe Rabbeinu accepts the words of Aaron. And so all of a sudden we see the dependency, the partnership, the interaction between Moshe and Aaron. And what do we take away? What does this mean for us? A lot of times we are busy and we put a lot of effort into doing the right thing, into building the Mishkan, and we are sincere about it, and we have, concurrent with that, sometimes we can have one or two problems. One problem is sometimes we feel inadequate, that we are not living up to what our expectations of ourselves, even we feel that we're not doing a good job in our spiritual religious life. This can be one feeling. The other feeling could actually be that we're not succeeding. We think that we're fitting for it, but that we're actually not succeeding. And this could be a roadblock to our feeling that Hashem is actually dwelling in us, that He's accepting what we are doing, and especially those things which we put so much effort into, the level of frustration can be very debilitating. And we get from our Parsha a dual message. One message is that perhaps to get over this hump, we need a partner. We have to, in other words, when we are building a Mishkan, we have to know that it's never going to be one person. We reach out to a mashpia, we reach out to a spiritual guidance counselor, we reach out to a chaver, we reach out to a friend, we collaborate, we partner, we support each other. We're able to share with each other, and it's quite likely that this collaboration in and of itself, this binding ourselves not to rely exclusively just on our own efforts to build a Mishkan, but joining together with another could be that which triggers the acceptability of our Mishkan. And certainly what Moshe Rabbeinu did is the main lesson to us. And that is that he davened. He knew that a Mishkan we don't build on our own, a finished Mishkan. That there always, no matter how much human effort goes into it, we always need Siyata Dishmaya. We're coming up to Pesach. There's a famous story. There was a chassid who, Pesach was the highlight of his life, and he tried so hard to make sure that it would be perfect. We know the Arizal says that a person who does not err and does not consume even the smallest amount of chametz on Pesach, he's guaranteed that he won't sin that year. It's a big deal for every single Jew. For this Jew, it was a real big deal. And he ends Pesach, and he's so elated, and he's so happy, and he feels that he did it right. And the next day he goes to the well, and as he's bringing out the water from the well, he brings up a challah, comes up from the well. His whole Pesach was ruined. Every day of Pesach, there was chametz in the water that he used. And he went to his Rebbe, this is not a Chabad Rebbe, he went to his Rebbe, and he said he's at a total loss. I was sincere. I tried so hard to perfect it. And look what happened. It's like Hashem rejected me. What more? And he asked the Rebbe, he says, what more could I have done to guarantee a correct Pesach? And this Rebbe answers him, and he says, well, did you daven to Hashem for a successful Pesach? That he didn't do. So it's a proof, in other words, that he, not just for our material pursuits, for our parnasa, for our livelihood, for our health and other things, do we understand our contingency upon Hashem, but even our spiritual efforts, which we know, yes, we don't wait, we don't just stop it. Our spiritual efforts means that we have to put the proper effort into it, definitely. But coupled with that, there is no such thing that happens only with human endeavor. There always has to be Hashem's intervention that we invite in through prayer, through demonstrating our contingency and our invitation to Him. The prayer invites Him into the whole mix. And through that, we can merit. When we work, we have to do our utmost. If we don't, the Alter Rebbe talks about a person who is insensitive to godliness. And he talks about the person who's insensitive, unmoved by godliness, that sometimes they have to go through a state of bitterness, of reflection. But that's all if they are, so to speak, sin-free. If they're sin-free, then we have to say, what is the obstacle? If they have sins, of course, the sins themselves are the obstacle. So obviously, we have to try our best to do things in the right way, but together with that, to pray to Hashem that He should accept our avodah, that we should feel the gratification. Other words, that of our spiritual achievements also, and that is one of the messages that we can also then bump up from a life of 7, Shvi, which is the normal course of life, that we can graduate to this upper orbit of Shemini of 8, in which we stand above the natural order, and our life is guided by the spirit, by the spiritual order. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.